What's going on? It's your boy Bowie here. Back at it with yet another video as I recover from COVID. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I sound less nasal than I did yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I'm here with another video reaction. Looks like I'm going to be doing reactions from here on out because I see videos on YouTube all the time concerning MK1. And I look at everything. Everything that I see that's interesting, of course. I look at it, and I always have thoughts, and I always have opinions, and, you know, I weigh it against my observations of Mortal Kombat 1 and the previous Mortal Kombat games. And I actually like these because these are spontaneous reactions, you know what I'm saying? So I saw this video from ItsFlavGaming, and he says, we got it all wrong. MK1 rant, stop the hate. That's very refreshing because MK1 does get a lot of derision. Some of it is criticism. Some of it is constructive criticism. And then some of it is just hatred. Some of it is complaining. Illegitimate complaining. You know what I'm saying? And so you have those four categories of negative feedback all flying in at once, and it can be difficult to parse out what's what. You dig what I'm saying? So let's hear what my man ItsFlavGaming got to say, and I'll react.
I got you now, SpongeBob.
That's
yes,
great.
You read the title correctly. We are getting it all wrong. Now we're going to be talking about two perspectives as well as going over the entire game to see if everything is warranted. Number one, people mistake MK1 hate as hate and not criticism. Number two, what people are asking NetherRealms to change and add to the game is unrealistic. Let's get it.
So let me go back to both of those real quick. So I sort of alluded to it just a few moments ago. I'll say it again. So from my perspective, Mortal Kombat 1 is getting several types of negative feedback. The best kind of negative feedback that it's getting is constructive criticism. And a lot of that constructive criticism is surrounding the online, the lack of modes, invasions, some gameplay things here and there, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Constructive criticism aimed at trying to make the game better from the perspective of people that like the game and want to keep playing it, right? Then you have criticism of people that just nitpick things that they don't like. These people may or may not keep playing the game, but they're criticizing the game based on not objective issues, but perspectives and preferences. So there are people that are like, man, fuck these cameos. I never liked them. I don't think they should be here. Well, they're here. They're here. There's nothing we can do about that. We didn't ask for them, but they're here now. So either you learn to play with them or you don't, right? There's people who talk about some people make illegitimate complaints about character balance, saying Johnny Cage is too OP, or this character's too strong, or this character's too weak. You know, no. No. If you look at the best players in the world who play these games for a living, they understand how the characters are supposed to work. They understand how strong these characters are. There isn't a character in MK1 that is so bad that they can't win matches. Every character is good enough for you to go in Combat League and get whatever tier you want to get to. Every character you can do that with. Now, you might have to work harder with characters like Quan Chi than you would with a character like Sindel, right? Or Raiden. You have to work harder, yeah, for sure. But Quan Chi is not so bad that he can't win games. And so anyone pretending that that's the case, that's garbage. So you have some of those. Mixed in with that are the people that just are like, fuck MK1, MK11's better. Fuck no. Sorry, not sorry, but hell nah. Y'all motherfuckers forgot that MK11 had this community in shambles, okay? When Shiva was running around stomping people for a whole year and we couldn't get away from it, everybody was sick of this goddamn game, MK11. Now y'all want to come back 4 years later and pretend like it was the... No, fuck all that. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So we're getting legitimate constructive criticism. We're getting bullshit ass complaints, right? And then you're getting hatred, right? And some of those latter two categories overlap a little bit. You know, you just have people that don't like what MK1 is all about. And they'll use legitimate problems with the game in order to create supercilious narratives about it. And I think that's what this video is attempting to address. So let me continue. I've been talking a lot.
People are asking Nether realms to change and add to the game is unrealistic. Let's get into it.
Now, I know that he's going to talk about some special announcement. I'm not worried about that. Sorry.
Criticism on what we can do to enjoy the game. If you really break it down and you really think about what everybody is saying and why they're complaining, there's a lot of MK1 diehard fans that refuse to go play Street Fighter or refuse to go play other games.
Amen, hallelujah. I'm one of them. You're not going to see no Street Fighter or Tekken on this goddamn channel. I'm an MK guy all day. Nothing against these other fighters. I ain't got nothing bad to say about Street Fighter or Tekken, but I'm an MK guy all day. Day. Okay? I've been playing Mortal Kombat, and I've said this in previous videos, but I'll say it again. I've been playing Mortal Kombat since the days when TV sat on the floor. You understand what I'm saying? When you needed two hands to pick up a TV. You dig what I'm saying? When them shits had knobs and rabbit ear antennas and shit. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. That's when I started my MK journey. Okay? I have no plans of stopping. I have no plans of stopping. I'm going to play MK. I'm going to continue to play MK. I continued playing MKX. I continued playing MK11 throughout its entire life cycle, even when Shiva was stomping on people. And I'm going to keep playing MK1 because MK1 is still a more fun game than MK11 could have ever hoped to be. Sorry, not sorry.
That are like, no, I'm not going to go play other games. I'm going to play this game.
Word.
And I just want you guys to make it better.
Indeed.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's
That's
just
right.
criticism. When we play video games like Madden and 2K and all those other games, everybody has criticism as to why they want the game to get better.
Indeed.
Right? If I'm not a Tekken fan, I don't care about what Tekken's doing wrong because I'm not going to play it. So just
For real.
remember that. People
Word.
that are complaining are expressing their frustration because if you just stay quiet, then NetherRealm's going to think that there's nothing wrong with the game.
Let's talk about that. My boy just made a very important point right here. The communication, or the lack thereof, from NetherRealm is a large part of why there's such vociferous criticism of this game right now. See, the problem is they tell us that they're listening, but they don't show us. They don't communicate with us. Not nearly on the frequency that they should. We be having to pry information out of them, right? And because they don't say nothing, we have to talk louder and louder and louder and louder and louder and louder and louder to make sure that they're listening. You know what I'm saying? And this is why we keep getting a cacophony of negative feedback. That's a large part of it. Just so that they know, hey, this shit is a problem. Also, during the times of MK11, there was a lot of criticism about many of the game's new system mechanics. And NRS did nothing. Well, let me not be hyperbolic. They did not change these mechanics in a satisfactory manner. They kept them. And they played the game to this very day. Right? And so when we see that, that makes us say, look, we gonna make sure that they understand we do not like this shit. We don't want this shit to stay the way that it is. I don't give a damn what they think they want to do. We gonna say something until they do something. That's sort of the mentality here. And so it's very important that people voice their concerns. Just make sure that them shits are legitimate. You dig? Let me continue.
So people have to comment and they have to say things. I know a lot of people get on MK Tom Brady and they get on Sonic Fox and all these people just complaining about.
Shout out Tom Brady, yo.
It's not that simple. If you love the game and you love the franchise, you're gonna do everything you can, and you know, as much as you can to try to make the game better. So what I would like to do is I want to, you know, let's just quickly go over a lot of the things in the game. I have a couple of topics that I wanted to go over. And just let me know what you guys think about some of these things in the comment section.
I'm letting you know in this reaction video, bro.
The game is actually good. And what we're simply going to do is if the section is good, then we'll give it a green. If the section is bad, give it a red. And we'll just see.
Here we go. See, I ain't see all this shit. Here we go.
The game actually really good. So let's go ahead and get started. And then we are going to be talking about that second point I said earlier. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So number one is the story mode, right?
Now, story mode. I didn't mean to give myself closed captions. My bad. Story's great. I like the story a lot. A lot of great character building. I do think General Shao was a little bit too much of a punching bag along with Reiko. They need to stop doing that shit. I think some of the characterization with Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Smoke sort of fell a little flat. Actually quite flat, because Bihan was just ready to just give everything to Shang Tsung and follow behind him at the drop of a hat. And it's like, it's not clear why he would just fold like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially not with the little bit of character building that they did for him. Actually have another YouTuber that I've been talking with recently. He's been talking about the story aspects of MK, and he had some fantastic ideas for Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Johnny Cage, shit like that. I'm going to react to his videos later, but still. But the ending was super dope. This is the best story since MK9 as far as I'm concerned. This shit gets a green from me. Oh, my bad.
Right off the bat, I'm going to give the story mode a green.
Hell yeah.
The only thing that I have a problem with, and literally is the only thing I have a problem with, is some of the storyline is it just doesn't make sense, right? Like, we're having this amazing world versus world tournament, but they're having it in in Sindel's backyard, it seems like, or just like right in the middle of her castle. Like, that doesn't even make sense. There's no.
This is not the typical the typical Mortal Kombat tournament that we're used to. See, the old Mortal Kombat tournament was literally, hey, you might die in this shit, and this is for the fate of your realm. This tournament's not like that. This is purely, it's more ceremonial, more of a bonding session. It's sort of like the Olympics is what this tournament is, rather than this is a battle for the fate of the world. Like, that's sort of the idea here.
A big crowd. They had big crowds in other games, like in MKX and MK9. Like, they had battles in front of big crowds, so I'm just confused as to why they couldn't execute that this time around. But that's a problem. But there's nothing worse than Reiko's introduction. what was that? Like, what is that? And
I
why
don't
would
know.
they think that that's okay to put? That's horrible. The moves look stiff. Nobody's impressed. We're just sitting here watching him, and then he gets his behind kick. And then also, I know I said one thing. But
Yeah, he said the same thing I said.
I didn't script this, guys. I'm just going off the top of the crane. Dang it. So, also, I don't like how, let's be a little bit more realistic, right? General Shao just loses to Raiden. Raiden just figured out how to get
Yeah.
the electricity thing, crap, the emblem. And he loses. It's a green light on the story mode. I did have fun with the story mode. I did like what they do, how they implemented everybody. So yeah, story mode, green light. Invasions. I'm not even.
This shit's a red light for me. They should have kept the crypt. Honestly. If you would have just lifted the crypt from MK11, ported the beautiful mesas that you made in this game, and put them in crypt form and let us explore that shit freely and all this, I would have much preferred that to what we got in Invasions. Like, Invasions is a slog, man. Now, I will say this. Invasions is really good for you practicing your combos. So to those of you that want to hop online and test out your new cameos and combos and all that kind of stuff, instead of you testing them out on people after having just created them, go to Invasions and practice them. You'll have unlimited enemies to fight there. You know what I'm saying? You'll have lots of opportunity to practice your combos, So that's what I use Invasions for. So it's good for that. I will say that. But Crypt was way better. See, here's the thing. And NetherRealm, I hope y'all hear me when y'all say this, or somebody can get this message to NetherRealm. It is very important that people can do other things besides fight in Mortal Kombat. Some of the best times that people ever had were playing things like Test Your Might, Test Your Sight, chess combat, puzzle combat. I can't believe I'm about to say this because I can't stand this mode. Motor combat from Armageddon. People like that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so the idea that you're going to have this Invasions mode, the Invasions mode idea is not a bad idea, but it was misexecuted because you're doing the same thing that you're doing everywhere else. So that's one of the reasons that it's boring. Also, it's repetitive. Also, it's very limiting and very slow. And there's no navigation. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a chore. It's a chore. And this is why you don't rush your games out. Because you could have put this out for people to test and play with. And we would have told you, I don't know about this mode, bruh. This shit needs a lot added to it before it can be fun. You know what I'm saying? But he's probably going to say the same shit.
If you're going to waste time on Invasions, everybody knows why Invasions is bad. It's boring. It's repetitive.
Yeah.
The style of them having the Invasions and that replacing the Crypt was bad. I think if they had Invasions and the Crypt, it maybe would have been like a little bit better in
right.
downscale.
Exactly.
There, do something else with it. But for it to replace the Crypt, bad. We're going to give that a red. Practice.
Yo, it's so funny because I haven't even watched none of this. Like, I ain't seen none of this shit. And he said the same shit I said. That should tell you something.
Mode. There's a lot of bugs at first with the practice mode, but I do.
Oh, he's talking about practice? Practice is good, man. It's not as good as Tekken or, Street Fighter's practice mode, but it will suffice. However, let me say this about practice. NetherRealm. Y'all got to start, if you're going to implement cameos in practice mode, right? You guys got to find a way to implement particular statuses of cameos and characters in practice mode. For instance, Johnny Cage has the hype mode. But in order for me to practice any hype mode combos, I have to manually build up his hype every single time. Then I got to trigger it. And then if I mess it up, I got to go through all that process all over again. There should be a mode, or there should be a toggle for me to have the boy have full hype. Or Chameleon. Chameleon's another one. You know, some of y'all know exactly where I'm going with this. Say I want to start with a particular disguise. I have to sit there and toggle the cameos. I gotta, like, let's say I have Sub-Zero and I got Chameleon as my cameo, right? I gotta switch my cameo to somebody else and then go back to Chameleon and hope that when I go back to Chameleon, it starts in the disguise that I want. Because if I want to start with Melina, okay, I have a 33% chance that I'm going to start with Melina. I'm probably going to either start with Katana or Jade, even though I want to play as the Melina disguise. You see what I'm saying? And so there needs to be a way for us to choose what disguise we want to start with as Chameleon. And honestly, there should also be an option for us to keep whatever disguise we wish. That way we can lab Melina things with Sub-Zero without having to worry about, oh shit, I'm finna switch to Jade. Fuck. You know what I'm saying? So practice mode needs to be a little bit fleshed out more, but otherwise it's a good practice mode. It gets agreed.
Enjoy the practice mode. The only thing, and this is hard, I'm not going to give it a red because it is. I'll still give it a green.
Yeah,
So
it's a green.
Pop. Okay.
For sure. For sure.
I'm going to give it a green because the practice mode is a lot better than I remember in MK11. The only thing I have a problem with is there's no online practice, right? So you can't go with your friends.
Yes.
You can't go practice the game.
Bruh, yes. Thank you for bringing that up. We need online practice, NRS. We should have been had that from the rip. Just had to say that.
Yeah, you can't practice different things that you guys find out. So yeah, that's the only downfall I say about the practice mode. But the practice mode is pretty good. Again, let me know any of these sections that I'm giving green or I'm giving red. Let me know your opinion and how would you rate these same exact categories in your opinion. Next we go on to online.
Oh Lord.
Now, wait.
Let me not say nothing.
Have not had the bad luck with the desyncs. I think I've had like maybe 2 or 3.
I didn't either. I only really had it one time, but they fixed that now.
3 desyncs. But if I'm going from the opinion of the majority, I have to say the online, just with the desyncs alone, are
it's
trash.
A red.
And the fact that they haven't even moved a foot to let's stop.
Now this is an older video. By now, they have fixed the desync issue, but online is still not where it needs to be. It's definitely not where it needs to be. The net code is not as good as MK11's or MKX's. The net code that we got from the original implementation of GGPO and MKX, that was some very good net code. The net code that was offered in MK11 was also really, really good too. I will say that. MK11 doesn't have a lot going for it in terms of pitting it against MK1, but what it does have is better net code. That I will say. That I will definitely say. It's easier to react to things, you know, because people online, I mean, I had people at least seeming to predict when Sub-Zero would do his 19 frame overhead, right? And they would block my shit and all that. Whereas in this game, you can't even react to a 28 frame overhead from Baraka. I think his is 28 frames. Sub-Zero's, I believe, is 24 frames. People get hit with that all the time. And that's purely an online tactic. Characters like Smoke and Ashra get an online buff because people can't react to their slow overheads. You know what I'm saying? And that's purely because of the online. So Online definitely needs improvement. It's not bad. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's MK9's online or some shit, but it definitely lags behind not just Tekken and Street Fighter, but it lags behind even its ancestor games. So
everything we're doing to fix this. I don't even care if they postpone Peacemaker to fix this, because you can't play the game. It doesn't matter if we get Peacemaker.
Yeah, this part's older, so I'm gonna skip past this.
People need, because I don't deal with it. I have a problem with is actually no, I don't have a problem with Wi-Fi filter. I'm gonna give the online a red. If I'm being realistic, if I'm thinking about
he did mention the Wi-Fi filter. Thank you, bro. So the Wi-Fi filter is not a filter. It's not a filter. Not a filter at all. I like the fact that it's here, the so-called Wi-Fi filter, but see, when you filter shit out, let's think about what a filter does. A filter separates something you don't want from something that you do want. Let's think of a water filter. The water filter traps the minerals, the hard metals, the alkalines, all those things, and lets the water pass through, right? So you're either supposed to see less of that stuff or, best of all, none of it, right? That's not what we see with the Wi-Fi filter. Ideally, when I heard Wi-Fi filter, I was thinking, hey, I can filter out Wi-Fi connections. That way, them people don't even pop up in my search queue. That way, when I see a match, all the matches would just be wired connections. That's not what we have. What we have is the ability to decline whomever we want, whether they are on Wi-Fi or not. And you don't even have to decline them on the basis of their connection. You can actually just look at who the person is, and if you recognize them, you could just be like, nah, fuck that, I'm not playing them. So it's a cherry picker is what it is. It's just up to the players to decide how to use it. I use it the way it's designed to be used, which is filter out badass connections. You know what I'm saying? But other people use it to cherry pick. But it's definitely not a Wi-Fi filter.
A Street Fighter, even though I don't play Street Fighter, I would love to practice while they're looking for a match. Sometimes
yes.
While I'm recording the video, literally while I'm editing, I have to cut so much time out because there's so much time of me looking for a match, finding a Wi-Fi player, and you know I get so many Wi-Fi players. I have to do like 4 or 5 declines before I can even get into a game. So I'm happy.
That's a huge point. Thank you. What's his name again? ItsFlavGaming, I think it is. Yeah. Matter of fact, let me subscribe to my boy right quick. Put a like on that shit. Thank you, bro. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, this is a problem. Because as I said, the Wi-Fi filter does not filter Wi-Fi connections. It just lets us cherry pick. But we still get all the Wi-Fi players that we didn't want. And so you have to constantly decline them. And all while you're sitting here declining these people, you don't get to be practicing in the lab while you do this. You have to watch some scroll wheel and stare at some background. Some still non-moving background. They ain't got no cutscenes. They ain't got no tips, no tricks. They don't have any lore for us to look at. Artwork, nothing. You just staring at a screen. Waiting for connection. Like, bro. NetherRealm. Y'all can do better than that. You can do way better than that. You put GGPO in MKX in the middle of its life cycle. You added story mode DLC in MK11. Y'all have done amazing shit before. And I know that you're planning on doing amazing shit in this game too, but for the love of fuck, please fix this online. Fix the whole online experience, because this shit that my boy ItsFlavGaming is talking about, he's right on the money.
to get the online of red. There's too many problems. And then we still got the warrior shrine and the practice. It's like they got too much stuff that's locked. Why isn't it? why can't we play this stuff?
Word.
It's only for a reason. Like why does it take so long to play this stuff when the game just feels a little half
rushed,
and
yeah,
it shows. So
exactly.
Yeah. Moving on to the customization. All right,
let's talk about this customization. It's lacking. It's lacking. I pretty much only played the PC version of MK1 because the modding community is fantastic for this game. Fantastic. The mods that you can put in this game are phenomenal. And they make the stuff that's included in the game look pathetic. Sorry to say it, but it's true. Right? You've seen my Sub-Zero. If you've watched any of my channels before, or any of my videos, especially my recent ones, of my noob Cybot skin for Sub-Zero, that's the only skin I need for him. And that is a PC mod. So the PS5 version of MK1, I'm not going to say I'm not going to use it, not going to play it, because I will, but not if I can play the PC version. Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? Customization is lacking, deeply lacking. And I thought they would have learned. I mean, they tried. They're trying, but it's not. It's not.
So, back in MK11, we could customize like 3 or 4 different items.
By the same token, let's not hold up MK11 as some sort of golden standard of Mortal Kombat customization, because it wasn't either. Yes, we had quote-unquote 40 skins, but let's not forget how they divided the skins. Each color was a skin. So a different palette swap was considered a skin, and that's not the same shit. Okay? And then the gear pieces that were available in MK11, some of the gear made the characters look really good. Some of it had no effect. Like the blood vials for Scarlet didn't really matter which one you picked, because you couldn't see the bitch no way. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention Scarlet and Jade had the same motherfucking masks. You know what I'm saying? Which is weird because they don't even like each other, so why would they have the same gear? Whatever. And yeah, so MK11 was not some golden standard. All right. The golden standard for customization in fighting games is actually Tekken. NRS needs to do that shit. For real, for real.
And now we only can customize one item, and we have limited palettes. Now, I feel like we got a little not really spoiled, but they had, like maybe like 4 or 5 different, maybe sometimes even 6 different.
Oh, I'm glad he included that. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. Okay, so look. These are not separate skins. These are palettes of one skin, right? So here's a skin. Here's a skin. This is a special skin. And then you had these. Right? So you had various skins. That's all nice, good, and dandy, right? But the game was trying to tell us that, hey, this is a different skin than this one. No, it's not. It's the same motherfucking skin, bruh. It's the same skin. So I appreciate MK1 for at least not insulting our intelligence, but still, let's not pretend like this game was just perfect and better in all ways. Like, not to say that that's what ItsFlavGaming is doing, but some of y'all motherfuckers out there will sit there and be like, oh, MK11 was so great, and we had it so good back then, and we didn't even know it. No, we didn't. Let's stop. Stop the cap.
Type of costumes, but we had like every color imaginable. And
I wouldn't say that.
It's just it was a bigger variety. It seems like the entire section of the customization, they kind of took a step back in that area. Now every character probably has like 1 or 2 skins that are like, okay, I actually like them. MK11, they wasn't too crazy, but in my opinion, there was a little bit better. We're not even gonna talk about MKX. Just blowing it out the water. I feel like some of the skins on MKX was amazing. I'm gonna give the customization a red.
Some of them, not really though.
So I'll give it the roster. I'm gonna give the roster.
Listen, rosters are green. That's all I gotta say.
Agree, automatic. Not even gonna waste time. Best roster for any MK game so far. That's in my opinion.
Since MK9.
They added things like, having Tanya in here with Reptile, and then we're gonna have Ermac in here later with Takeda, and then we still got the core: Liu Kang, Scorpion, Sub-Zero.
Listen, this game has Ashra, and Human Smoke in the same fucking game. And Geras. Okay? Plus Havoc. Now, some of them characters I don't even play. But people been asking for Havoc forever. People been asking for Ashra forever. People been wanting Serena in a game forever. And Darius, well, didn't nobody ask for Darius. But still, roster's super strong. And the cameos, as controversial as they may be, offer a really nice way for old school characters to make their way back into the game while not taking up a roster slot for someone more important. This roster gets an A.
Blah, 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 blah. But then they added Natara. Natara's my main right now, as you can see. Natara's my main. And then, then we got, we still got Geras. And then, with Melina, you have all of our classic not cameos. We have all of our classic characters.
Right.
We got those, Shijinko, even though he's trash. We still got Shijinko, and we got Motaro.
Chameleon, who is amazing as a cameo, by the way.
Cameos that we haven't seen in actual games in a long time. So I feel like this is the best roster in any MK period. Let me know how you feel about that. What would you say is the best roster from all of the MK so far? Gameplay.
Listen, gameplay is phenomenal. There are some characters that still need some love. I do think that there are plenty of characters that could be given things, small things here and there, little tweaks, so that they're not so reliant on cameos. But other than that, in terms of the meta of the game and all that kind of stuff, the meta's good. The meta's very good. Everything in the game has counterplay. Even if it's strong, it has counterplay. Jump-in kicks are strong, but up block beats them. Right? Up block is strong, but throws beat up block, plus lows do too. Right? There's 50-50s, but the overheads are slow and often unsafe. And the lows often don't really lead into a combo unless you commit to it. Right? Very few characters can just get safe 50-50 combos on both ends. Just universally. They got to have a particular cameo in order to do that. Right? So whether novice and casual players would care to admit it or not, the cameos have really optimized the gameplay of MK1. You know when they'll realize it? When MK2 is out and they don't like MK2 and they dislike it more than they dislike this game now. That's when they'll lionize MK1.
Best part of this game is the gameplay. So I'm going to give it a green.
Green.
But it has its flaws, right? Even with the gameplay probably being good, in my opinion, it's one of the best gameplays that we have. It's a tie between MKX and this.
Oh, hell no. Ugh. Fuck no. Listen, I'm not trying to get at you. It's Flav, you know what I'm saying? Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I speak from the perspective of somebody who cares about neutral spacing with punishing, solid fighting game fundamentals. Coming from that perspective, Mortal Kombat X only allows players or encourages players to play one way, aggressively. That game, explicitly rewards offense. It does not reward defense. And everything in the game shows that. Walk speed is weak, very weak, especially backwards walking speed, very weak in that game. Anti-airs, weak. Save for a couple of characters. Some characters have really strong anti-airs, right? But the jump-in attacks are super strong, right? The run button makes neutral damn near non-existent because someone can just do forward block and then perform an attack and they hit you. You know what I'm saying? You got to play neutral from full screen in that game. And yes, the game's fun because there's a bunch of combo routes and a bunch of variations and things for people to play with. And so that's what makes people forgive all that stuff or not realize it. But that is what it is. You know what I'm saying? This game, by contrast, actually allows you to learn fighting game fundamentals. You can learn how to whiff punish people, how to anti-air people, how to bait people into jumping at you and then punishing them with an up block. You can flawless block. You can blow up people's best strings because so many of them have gaps. You can use up block to punish them. You can actually really learn how to become a better fighting game player by playing this game. So I know that's not a popular stance in the community right now, but it's objectively correct though.
I feel like MK11 was more tactical. Like I don't know. It wasn't like a casual friendly. You kind of really had to know what you were doing to play MK11.
As far as MK11 is concerned, there's truth to that, but many of the new mechanics, namely KBs, the wake up system and breakaway system, really did cater to casuals accidentally. Because a casual player, for instance, playing Baraka, could just mash forward circle if they're playing on PlayStation. And they can wind up doing a 25 to 30% damage combo off of a very simple sequence that they did not earn. How did they get this sequence? Because the opponent just happened to be moving, right? You could get 30% damage off of a throw. How did you get that? Because the opponent happened to be pressing a button while you threw them, and it happened to be the wrong tech button. You know? Or somebody tried to use their best footsie tool, and it happens to be a high attack, and because you randomly decided to uppercut, now you get an uppercut KB. Or let's say you did none of those things. You got your ass kicked, right? And you're playing Jax. You're getting your ass kicked by someone that's playing better. And now because you're at 30% health, now the person that was kicking your ass now has to be afraid of you because you have an unreactable, damn near full screen fatal blow that leads to comebacks. So MK11 was very scrub friendly with the mechanics, though it was complicated to play at times.
So I do understand the hate that it got. But as far as the gameplay, the only reason why I have a problem with some of the gameplay is because it's a little brain dead in the storm cell. So you got low move in the storm cell, and then
well, listen, that's one move. There's brain dead moves in every game. Have y'all forgotten Shiva Stomp from MK11? I haven't. Have you forgotten Hell Sparks from MKX? Or Hishkuten's Predator's projectile? I didn't forget. Have y'all forgotten the entire character of Tanya in MKX I haven't. People complaining about Johnny Cage and MK1 would have never wanted to play Johnny Cage and MK9. There are brain dead characters in every game. That ain't nothing new. That ain't nothing new. But with Storm Cell and MK1, they could fix that shit. They could fix that shit. They can make it not activate on block, and that would fix that move. It would only do the shocking charging shit if you hit the bitch. So if you hit confirm into Storm Cell, it can do the shocking thing and all that, and they could fix that. Or they could make the move deathly unsafe, right? And not have pushback. There's things that they can do to fix Storm Cell that stop it from being brain dead.
Cameo keep you safe in the Goro or Kano, and then you have things like low hat, 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 and then you got Omni Man to where it's low hat, jump up, do a overhead cross move or across the map full screen overhead move with the low hat. I do feel like there's things that are busted, but I'm not gonna lie, the game is fun to play. I'm not gonna lie.
Indeed.
The game has flaws. I thought MKX had flaws. I know MK11 had flaws. I thought MK9 had flaws. I played all of these games. I feel like MK1 kind of has the best gameplay. It's fun. It's just
yes.
You get those players that do crack stuff. A lot of down poking moves. The game just feels a little bit unbalanced, a little bit, because you have what's his name, Quan Chi. Quan Chi has a move. No, not Quan Chi. Omni Man. Omni Man has a move to where he got 2 mid moves and it's a launcher. Why couldn't we give that to Scorpion? You got.
I understand where you're coming from, but that's character balance. There's always going to be those questions of why this character, not that character. But I'm going to say this, though. He specifically compared Omni-Man to Scorpion. Scorpion has better tournament results than Omni-Man does. MK Javier is a masterful Scorpion user. And there's people that play Omni-Man. Omni-Man's strong. You know, he's not a bad character by any stretch of the imagination. But Omni-Man is relatively one-dimensional. There is a way that he plays. And once you figure it out, there's not much more for the Omni-Man to do. Unless I'm missing something. You know what I'm saying? Scorpion's kind of like that as well, but Scorpion has much more variety. And he rewards very patient, deliberate gameplay. Scorpion's great.
The Chameleon, who literally has all of these different moves, he's copying people. Shujinko has the same thing, but all of his moves are negative. And he's just useless. There's literally like the vast majority of people that Shujinko copies, the moves are just useless.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't. I would not say that.
Shujinko against General Shao. He does the little low projectile move that he has, and then he has a little uppercut move. They're both slow. You can't combo into them. It sucks. Like there's just certain characters you can't use. You literally just cannot use him. And
I wouldn't say that. There's definitely uses for Shujinko in this game. And of course, this was old, so this was prior to the buffs and all that kind of stuff. But there's more to Shujinko than what he's letting on here, and it's not his fault. He may not be aware, you know.
And like, let's say, okay, you can make it work. I'm not saying you can't win with them, but you're talking about using Shujinko over Chameleon, over Serena, over Kung Lao, over Taro, over Scorpion, over Striker. No, you're not using him. But if they gave him the properties as Chameleon, or I feel like, even with his grab, right? If Shujinko is the only cameo to where you can combo after his forward grab, that would make him even better.
I see what he's saying though. Yeah, I think Shujinko definitely does need some more utility. Like there needs to be something that he needs to do. He is unique, and he's not gonna work very well with everybody. But I do think he needs to have some uniquely strong abilities to offset his weaknesses. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't offer strengths now, because he definitely does.
Right. So it's just different things with the gameplay. A lot of bugs, people going invisible. I get all of that. I'm still gonna give the gameplay a green.
Yeah,
because I think the game is still fun to play. It can be frustrating with people picking overpowered teams and just having overpowered players, but you're gonna have that in every fighting game. There's gonna be things that's unfair, things that are fair.
I'm glad you said that, and I'll bring this to a close because this video is probably long as shit. But anyway, yeah. Let me say this about the gameplay of MK1. I said this in another video, but I'm gonna say it here now. This game's characters do not carry people. They don't carry people. This game right here is a game in which good gameplay decisions go very, very far, no matter what character you pick. If someone decides they're going to pick Kenshi's considered to be one of the best characters in the game, right? Let's say they pick Kenshi, but they're jumping all over the place. They're trying to zone. They don't bring out Sento. That Kenshi's going to get fucked up. And that's not just true for Kenshi. That's true for Johnny as well. That's true for Sindel. Any of the quote-unquote characters that people think are top tier. You can pick a top tier character in this game if you want to, but you ain't going to win with them just because they're top tier. You got to put in work. You got to make good decisions still. You still have to play well in order to win. You have to earn your victories in this game. Now, a lot of people haven't wrapped their head around that idea yet, that this game makes you earn your victories, but it's true. It's very true. We played MK11. We played MKX. We played MK9. Maybe not all y'all, but I did. And it wasn't just that I played them. I tried to understand them. And in this game, what I've noticed is that if two completely different people pick the same character, you will get two completely different impressions of that character based on who they picked and what cameo they paired with them. Right? There's been matches on Combat League where I'm like, oh shit, this person picked Reiko. I go in and smash Reiko. Why? Because they didn't play Reiko correctly. They're randomly, diving and shit. They're not using Reiko's good ass footsies and normals and things like that. They're not using his projectile barely at all. Or if they're using it, it's very predictable, flowcharty, that kind of thing. Easy to counter. If you use the character wrong, you're going to get fucked up, and it doesn't matter who they are. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you could take a character that's lower, like a Quan Chi or a Scorpion, and if you play well with that character, you'll make them look fucking broken. You'll make them look super strong, right? And so that's what people haven't really got the grasp of yet in this game. And I can't wait for that thought to be as mainstream as a lot of the hate has been. Maybe I'll be waiting forever, but I just want to say I appreciate ItsFlavGaming. I subscribe to him. You know what I'm saying? I like the video. Probably going to let him know I reacted to this video. And I appreciate y'all for coming along with me on this ride and stuff as I react. And hopefully you learn a little something about MK1. You dig what I'm saying? But with that being said, I'm out this motherfucker one.